What's up, VC? What's up, vinyl community? It's Dan, the Vinyl Geezer, hanging out with you for at least one more video. Coming at you a little early today, as we're doing a video on Saturday instead of Sunday. Well, my friend Paul was supposed to come over. We're going to clean some of his records that he just bought and just hang out and spin some tunes. You know, things pop up. Paul was unable to make it over, so I had some little extra time on my hands today, so I thought I'd go ahead and do a video this week. One that I've been thinking about, and one that was inspired by this terrible month that we're currently in. Let me explain a little bit. So I'm a teacher, and I don't know if this is a thing. This is definitely a thing at my school. I've worked at one school, and I've been there for like 21 years. So February is always like that month that burnout starts happening. And I get reminded by this. My wife will remind me every time February pops around. She's like, you get like this every February. And it's true. It's a difficult time. And so here's my point that we're going to hit. All right. Right here. But I'm going to go way out of the way, and then I'm going to come back before we get to talk about this. It's probably going to be a longer video, so forgive me. And if you want, you can just skip to the ends. I'm showing like 5 or 6 records, okay? There is one that I wanted to bring up, though, and that is this. Bill Evans, You Must Believe in Spring. You must believe in spring. It is coming. It is coming, okay? But anyway, that's just one I wanted to show you there. So we're gonna start here, like I said, and we're gonna go boo, and then we're gonna come all the way back. Okay, so just hold on, hang with me. If you don't want to watch the video, you can turn it off. It's probably gonna be a long one. I imagine it's gonna be a long one. I'm pretty sure. So, you know, if you want to hang out and listen to me ramble for quite a long time, by all means, hang out. All right. So anyway, so let's get into this. So I'm a fan of books as well. And some of my favorite books they're fantasy books. Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, the Dark Tower series. And one of my favorite books is this one. It's by Clive Barker. It's called The Thief of Always. Okay, this is like, as you can tell, this is an old one. This is an old first edition of this book. If you're into if you're into Clive Barker, if you're into fables, it's a fable. If you're into these kind of books, it's a really quick read. It's like 200 and something pages. You could probably get it done in one sitting, no problem. Anyway, it's a great book, and I even got the paperback, but it's got that one of the best opening lines in a book, and that happens in a lot of fantasy books. They always have my favorite opening lines. Anyway, and yeah, you guys are like, wow, he's really going way out there for this one, and I am. So excuse me and just hang out with me just for a minute. It'll all make sense. So the Great Gray Beast, February, had eaten Harvey Swick alive. Here he was, buried in the belly of that smothering month, wondering if he could ever find his way through the cold coils that lay between here and Easter. And that is kind of February for me every year. It's a depressing month. It's gray. It's dark. January, you kind of spend getting a hangover, the holidays, and then February comes and you feel like you're never going to get out. So it's a time where I just do a lot of inner reflecting. You know? A lot of inner reflecting. And one of those questions that popped up, and this is where I'm getting to my point a little bit. Why vinyl? So it's obvious. I'm into vinyl. And I just asked myself, why? Why? What's the thing? There's been a ton of videos made about this. So, by all means, I'm giving you guys so many outs. You could click off this video now. But if you want to hang out, there might be something interesting, and maybe you want to add your own 2 cents below. Comment. Let me know what you think. Let me see if you agree with me. Or you could complain about me having a super long video. That's fine. Whatever. Engagement, man. That's what it's all about. Let's talk. Let's have a dialogue. So anyway, oh man, that coffee's good. All right, so I remember there was this like New Yorker cartoon. It came out a few years ago, and it was like two guys. One of them's like they're standing like in front of this whole like record collection, and this guy's home, and he says something like, "The two reasons I'm into vinyl are the expense and the inconvenience," and that always cracked me up because it's kind of true. There's something. It's not easy to collect vinyl. It's heavy. It takes up a lot of space. It's a complete pain to take care of. I remember watching a Henry Rollins video where he was talking about when you buy a vinyl record. I'm just going to pull one out here. I've got this B-52s here. So when you buy this, when you bring this home, you have to take care of it. You have to clean it. You have to handle it carefully. It's like bringing... It's fragile. You don't want to look at it too hard. You know, you got to take care of it. You want to make sure it's clean, and you know you're cleaning your stylus, and you know you're cleaning your records on a regular basis. All this stuff, all this nonsense, you got to store them properly. I'm one of those freaks that stores everything out but not for what you might think. It's not for the ring wear. It does. I don't think it really helps with ring wear. It's more just about ease of access. I don't want to have to pull this thing out of the thing and just to get to the records. But anyway, just thought I'd just show you that. It was right here. It was very convenient for me to show you that one. So yeah, buying a record is making a commitment to something. Okay, so, and it's like, let's admit we've got a sickness. Like, has there ever been a time where you've passed a Goodwill and not thought about going in? Like, even though you probably know, you know, but it's like, and then, so you go in. So how many times you go in and you find Ray Conniff singers, Engelbert Humperdinck, bunch of Christmas records, Firestone put out, Guy Lombardo, you know, and you're like, dang, you know, but did that stop you from going back? Like, that happens most of the times. Does that stop you from going back to Goodwill? Probably not. Probably go in there and you're like, I'm going to find the entire Blue Note 1500 series for 50 cents a piece or something like that. Like, you're going to tell yourself these stories, but that's fun. It's like kind of fun. So when you go into Goodwill and you find something, like you find a Bob Dylan record or something that's in really good shape for like 50 cents or $1, you're like, yeah, like you feel like you got something. So, you know, but you always think like, you know, right, man, I'm going to hit the jackpot at Goodwill. It's going to happen this time. If it's not the Blue Note 1500 series, I'm going to find OG Velvet Underground and Nico, you know, in Shrink or something. Or a sealed collection of all 80s metal. It's probably never going to happen. Like, ever. So, it's like a sickness. So, you know, and you got a chance. Yeah, you could find. And if you don't go into Goodwill, you're never going to find that kind of thing. Because people do find really good deals there. But, so yeah, it's been just kind of an existential crisis. It's been happening. Been thinking, like, why am I doing this? Like, really, why am I doing this? Like, I've got a phone. I've got an iPhone. I've got Apple Music. Or I could get Tidal. Or I could, if is that even a thing anymore? I could get Spotify, whatever. And I could just, you know, I could go into the media input on my Rotel and listen to, you know, anything that I want. It's all there at my fingertips. There's something about it. Something about owning these things. Something about having this storage medium. You know, this crazy storage medium. Like, there's something about having this versus just bringing up train of thought. And you know, maybe, well, this is the 12-inch version, so that's cool. So that's one thing that you can only really get on vinyl, or you can probably find it on YouTube. I mean, do they sound that much better? I don't know. So I went to a website, and I thought it was kind of funny. It was whatisvinyl.com, and I've got my notes right here in front of me. So I looked up, they had this article called 10 Main Reasons Why People Buy Vinyl Records Today. And I'll link that down below. And this was, I think, written in a couple of years. And it only listed 9 reasons, which was kind of weird. So the editor I'm not saying anything negative about the editor, but maybe they missed on that one. And so it's like the reasons people buy vinyl. So I went through these 9 reasons, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's kind of yes on everything, but there's some of these that don't really make a lot of sense. So it's February. The geezer's a little down. He's thinking like existential crisis. Like, what am I doing with my life? Why do I have all these records and I keep buying them and I keep trading in and I keep upgrading and I keep looking for the grails, and like, why do you do this? So what I went into. So their reasons were like sound quality. Well, I will admit that a great sounding record is an amazing thing, but is it really the best way to listen to music? I mean, you've got so many people on so many different sides. You might as well be debating any kind of political issue, because you're going to have people on this side that are going to say this side that are going to say that. It sounds different. I know that. I like the way it sounds. Does it sound better? I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you that, because all I really have, other than the media input and my little DAC that I bought for $5 or $6, whatever, at Walmart, the little iPhone connection to the analog. Other than that, I've got no way to tell you whether an SACD is going to sound good. I don't have a CD player. I mean, I've got a couple of PlayStations I could play a CD on, but I mean, I don't have a CD player. I have a Marantz tape deck. I have my turntable. That's what I got. And I've got that iPhone and DAC combination. So I can't tell you if it sounds better. It might. I like the sound of vinyl. I'm not complaining about the sound of vinyl. Some sounds better than others. So this was a big one. Listening to vinyl is an event. So yeah, it is an event. Let's say I want to listen to, like, let me see something that I want to find something I haven't talked about yet. Foo Fighters. I got that $15 Walmart sale that happened. You guys remember that? That was freaking awesome. So I got this Foo Fighters record. So if I want to listen to this Foo Fighters record, I got to look for it, find it, pull it out, drop it on the table, clean it. I got my little carbon fiber brush. You want to clean the stylus before. It is. There's this ritual. It's almost like a cult, right? The cult. But it is. There's like all these rituals that go into it. The vinyl listening experience. So it is an event, and it's something that you kind of force yourself to pay attention to. And I don't know, you've got that special place that you want to sit and listen to your records in, and it's a whole event. It's great. So, I can agree with that. Their third reason was diverse audio files. I don't understand what that means. Like, I don't understand how that's a reason that we buy. It's because it's diverse. It really doesn't make sense. What it said was that most vinyl record purchasers are millennials. So I don't know what that means and why that is a reason that we listen to vinyl. These are it's literally the top 10 main reasons why people buy vinyl records, because it's diverse. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. So comment below, but visual features was number 4. Visual features. I'll agree, man. There's nothing like holding nice big artwork in your hand, like holding on to that artwork. And I'm going to try to pick out something really cool here. This is Ghost and Infinitesimum. Is that how you say it? It's great. It's like the artwork right here, and then it's got this really nice gatefold. If I could pull this out. So yeah, the art aspect of it is really cool, Just like gatefold lyrics and cool pictures, and you got the whole thing, I mean, you don't get this on your phone. You can see a little bit, tapes, CDs, it's a little artwork. So big artwork. I could see that. The tactile experience. I feel like that's a little redundant, because number 2 said listening to vinyl is an event. So that's part of the whole thing. This is the tactile experience. Buying vinyl is an ultimate experience. I want to revisit that one because that is dead on. Like, then what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6. Buying vinyl is an ultimate experience. I'm going to revisit that one because that is, I agree with that one 100%. Support for artists. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I guess if you're a Bandcamp artist, you got your Bandcamp and you're selling vinyl records and those proceeds are going, so you're supporting little artists, you're supporting independent artists. So yeah, I could see that. This one says, slow listening is therapy. It requires attention, care, and imperfections. So I kind of covered that in the beginning, like what bringing a record home means. So, and number 9, this would be number 9, is the investment. So that's not why I'm doing this. I don't do this to have like, oh, well, that one's worth, I way overspent probably for this Danzig record, right? I love this record. I spent a lot of money for it. And when I'm dead, my daughter will, I'm sure, sell it. And so, yeah, I guess it's an investment, maybe, something like that. It's kind of look at, but I don't have the money to put into investments. And especially, like, you see what's going on with, like, MoFi, that whole thing. It's like, that when people were buying all these one-steps and, like, how much the Abraxas go for? Like, $2,000 or something? That's not gonna maintain. And then that whole thing fell apart, man. And I'm seeing, like, I saw Love Over Gold the other day. Brand new condition at the store for $50, the MoFi. And I almost bought it, but then I'm like, why should I buy it? Because, I don't know. Why should I buy it? I've got Love Over Gold. I like the way it sounds. So it's a great sounding record regardless. It's because, like I was talking to my buddy Brian's Vinyl Records, like, Mark Knopfler was a genius. He knew what he wanted. He kind of controlled that whole thing, maybe. I don't know. Whoever recorded them knew what they were doing and engineered those records. But I'm gonna add one reason here of why vinyl. I'm gonna make it 10, okay? Because there's only 9 in that article, so I'm gonna make it 10. And I'm gonna say this: collecting is a thing. People like to collect. People like to collect things. Tchotchkes, costume jewelry, art, paint, books, paintings, guitars, right? People collect, and collecting is a thing. So I think that also, I think that you kind of have to be a collector. You kind of have to be a little crazy and into this thing because collecting is a thing. So, and it's something that we do. Something that we do as a Western, Eastern culture. I don't know. I would go out and say that most cultures have people that collect things. So, collecting's a thing. It's a human thing, I would think. Anyway, I'm waxing philosophical here on this. So anyway, so what I thought I would do is I would talk about my reasons, like why I love listening to vinyl so much and why I collect vinyl. And that's, so I've got a list here. So it's like community, man. Community. This, the VC. Not only this, though, but like getting to know people. You make friends because of records. You hang out with them. You do like VC meetups. And we're way overdue, but my friend Cosmic Brian, man, we got together. Cosmic Brian from Cosmic Vinyl. We hung out. We went to a record show. It was awesome. Then we got to meet some other people. Sam, it's a friend of mine in the VC. He's also kind of in the VC, and and then you get to know the shop owners and the people that work in the shops, and you get to know people, and it's like sometimes I'll go to the record store just to hang out, just to be like, you know what, I haven't gone and I haven't seen these people. I want to go hang out with them and just talk. Sometimes I spend way too much time just shooting the shit at the record store, So that's a big thing to me, is the community aspect of it. Time travel, man. I remember seeing this meme, and it was this kid, and he had like a Crosley looking player, and it was like a drawing. and it said like the best time travel machine is music. And that's true, man. Like I could put on Van Halen's 5150 and I am back. I am right back. I put on Madonna's debut album and I'm back in the 80s. You know, it's like it is this magical teleportation thing. And there's something about that. And then there's this aspect like that I talked about that I said I would come back and visit, and that's buying vinyl as an ultimate experience. It is. You got to work, man. You're not just, you know, you've got to try. You've got to work to get those grails or those albums that you want. You got to wait. You know, you're not, unless you just got like tons of disposable money. If you're a doctor or a lawyer or wealthy or your parents were, and you got lucky, well, great, man. You could just go out and get anything that you want. But these kind of things, it takes time, man. You've got to invest the time. And when you bring it home and you place it in the first time, it's amazing. Like, I'm going to show you guys just like a preview. Eventually, I'm going to do a video about these. I found some serious Metallica grails last year. This is an original And Justice for All. I have been looking for an original And Justice for All for a long time. And I found it. And this is a time machine. This is it. So, but waiting. I mean, I've been waiting for years to find one. And I had to find it had to be like everything kind of has to happen. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. Like everything just kind of clicks. And all those gears just kind of click. And boom. It works out. So you know what I mean. So it is, and it requires work. And there's some fun stuff that happens. You go with friends, do those VC community meetups that I was talking about. It's great. Antique malls. I've been loving antique malls lately. The thing is, antique malls, like the people are crazy, man. Like they're like, you know, they've got like $10 on like stupid records. Just like Engelbert Humperdinck. You know, and they're thrashed beyond compare, but at the same time, man, if they have like $10 on everything, there might be something really cool in there. And I found that Eno, Here Come the Warm Jets, OG, for $12. And it was like, it had some bedfellows of like ridiculous polka records. Frank Yankovic's greatest $12. Everything was like $12. Boom. There's an Eno. Here Come the Warm Jets. So that does happen. So like getting in there and searching, like it takes work. And so, but all of this like comes into one thing, and probably my favorite thing is experiencing new music to you. There are this format, these records, they help you to branch out, you know? They help you to branch out. And you branch out into different genres. Maybe genres you never thought you would want to. Like, maybe genres like you never thought you'd really get into. Dude, I'm a metalhead, like, in my heart. But I love synth pop. Like, it's stupid. Like, I stupidly love it. I love it so much. I didn't even realize I loved it. Now, I did work in a radio in the 90s and in the early 2000s. I was a disc jockey for a morning show. It was the Retro Morning Show. Hits 103.9, Retro Morning Show. It's Dr. Dan hanging out with you, you know. And I'd play like, you know, some Flock of Seagulls and Aha and stuff like that. So I knew I liked it, but I didn't know I really liked it until like this format. And this format, like, you start learning, like, and you start finding things. Some synth pop records I never would have found had it not been for vinyl. One of those, I hope I could find it real quick to show you guys. Yeah, here it is. So this label right here, the Sire label, like almost anything on Sire. This is Data, Elegant Machinery. This is just as good as, like, to me, it's just as good as like Yazoo. It's up there. You know, and I would have never heard of Data before, but I love it. It's a great synth pop record. So yeah, I mean, like, I know I'm a synth pop goth rock junkie, and I don't think I would have been had I not really stayed and started collecting and really committed to collecting. So there's that. So anyways, we come to the end of this. It's like 25 minutes, not really the end. Now I'm going to start the records. Now I'm going to show you some more records. But what these are is what I thought I would show you, some very important albums to me that I never would have gotten into had I not been collecting this format. So I've been collecting this format for about 10 years now. Of course, when I was a kid, I had some. And, I was raised I was born in 75. I was raised in the 80s. Records were a thing. I had Thriller. I had some records. I had Joan Jett and the Blackhearts' I Love Rock and Roll was my first record that I ever bought that I wanted. And it was like a 45 of it. And I wore that frickin' 45 out. I loved it. I'd grab the hairbrush. I don't have a hairbrush, but I got a disc washer. And I'd in front of the mirror, kind of do your thing. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts' I Love Rock and Roll. The first vinyl record I ever bought. And so there is some of that time travel aspect, that nostalgia, It's like, and then, that makes me think of, and here I go, way off into the nether regions again, but like of space, Dan's going back out. So just hang with the geezer. Hold on, I'll get to my point. But you guys ever watch Mad Men? There was this scene where Don Draper was talking about nostalgia and what it means. And what nostalgia means, it's a Greek word, and I know this just from watching Mad Men, is that it means pain from an old wound. So there's something about it. My Christmas records are put up. The first time I placed the Charlie Brown soundtrack at Christmas time as we were decorating the tree, and I heard that record the first time since, I don't know, man, when I was a kid, you would hear Linus and Lucy, the doom 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 doom. You would hear that, but when I heard Christmas Time Is Here, and it just brought me back to when I saw that, and I was just the geezer was just a tiny little chap, back then, just a little bitty baby geezer watching that. Just tears just started running. So yeah, it's there's something about it, man, and so that's it. Nostalgia, it's the nostalgia. So anyway, that's another reason. So anyway, let's get to these very important albums to me that I never would have gotten into had it not been for this format. I feel maybe I would have discovered them. I don't know, but like I said, we can wax philosophical about that all day, whether or not I would have done that, and multiple universe theory and all that, parallel universes and whatnot. Anyway, I'm digressing. If you're still here, congratulations. I have no idea why, but thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. All right, so let's get into these Rekkids. All right, I got a stack of Rekkids. Finally, 28 minutes in. We're getting there. It's going to be over 30 minutes today. This is what happens when the geezer has too much time on his hands. Hey, all right, so very first record that I had to put down is this one. There is no way, had I not been into this format, that I would have ever gotten into jazz music. And I got to show my favorite jazz record. Well, it's my favorite jazz record for now. I've got several favorite jazz records, and the funny thing is they all have blue in the title. But anyway, let's talk about it. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this thing. We got this, I don't know, years ago. 5, 6, I don't know. I don't know how old this was, but this is a Dole reissue of John Coltrane's Blue Train. All right, they totally jacked up the artwork on the cover of this. They've destroyed it. They did this cutout thing. It's on blue vinyl, and my wife and I bought it. She was into jazz, and so this was it. And since we've definitely upgrade it. But this is never going anywhere because this has been the introductory album into jazz. So, you know, I do have like an 80s. This is one of the DMM pressings of this that came out in the 80s. It actually sounds really good. It's nice and crisp. And then, of course, I got the brand new Tone Poet that just came out that everybody talked about, you know, because, you know, of course you've got to have it. This is a beautiful, I got the stereo one. I didn't get the mono one. But just a beautiful record. I would have never gotten into this record had it not been for this format. And now, like, not only is Blue Train one of my favorite albums, Midnight Blue by Kenny Burrell is one of my favorite albums. Grant Green's Born to Be Blue. Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. Blue Bash by Kenny Burrell and Jimmy Smith. Just great stuff. Just absolutely phenomenal music format that I thought that jazz had no entry point. I thought jazz was what Bill Pullman was playing in David Lynch's Lost Highway. Do you remember that where he's grabbed that? I've talked about this before. He grabbed that sax. He was like, and it was just nuts. That's what I thought jazz was. I didn't think it would had an entry point. I thought it was all like, you know, free jazz stuff. You know, that Ornette Coleman, the free jazz stuff. Yeah, I mean that's what I thought it was, and it made no sense. It had no entry point. It had no melody, no hooks. But anyway. So I thought it was inaccessible, is the point I was trying to make. But it's actually the opposite. A record like that. Blue Train is an amazing record, man. So, anyway, let's keep going. All right, so this is another. I would have never, ever bought it. Maybe, but let's pretend, because this is what makes these things kind of work. This record, I've shown this before. This is Japan. And Japan. This is just a compilation of Japan stuff. And I want to say there's nothing on here from Quiet Life. I want to say this is like Gentlemen Take Polaroids and Tin Drum. There might be a song on here from Quiet Life. I'm not sure. But I bought this record. I was at a place in Denver called Recollect Records. My gosh, guys, we're over 30 minutes. If you're not here, I totally get it. But anyway, I was at Recollect Records in Denver, and this. I saw this and I thought I got to check this out. It was in its own section. It was called. What was it called? It was called Electronic 80s or something like that. I saw this and you know what made me pick up this record? My mom had the same glasses and haircut as David Sylvia did on this. I said I gotta listen to this. I popped in. They had a little listening station. It was like $10. I don't even know why I did that, but I was like, I want to make sure, you know, this is something I want to check out. I had already kind of made up my mind, but I popped it on the little listening station, put the headphones on. I got 30 seconds into The Art of Parties, and I knew it right at that moment. I brought this home, and I spun this, and I have their entire discography now. Japan. Never would have happened. Had it not been for vinyl, I never would have gotten into Japan. And that, my friends, is a shame. If you're not into Japan and you dig like 80s synthy pop stuff at all, art rock, if you like Duran Duran, these guys are like the art version of Duran Duran. And they were Duran Duran before Duran Duran was Duran Duran. All right, so this next record. It's in the shop one day years ago. My friend Jesse's working there. He pops on this record. I had known who Harry Nilsson was. I knew like the song Coconut. I used to cover that when I was doing my acoustic, you know, bars, and I was doing my like acoustic duo with my friend Chuck. We covered this and we'd do Coconut. It was always a lot of fun. Like I'd end up rapping like Straight Outta Compton over the top of it. It was actually pretty fun. But yeah, I knew like Coconut. I knew Everybody's Talking. I knew that he had something to do with the Popeye soundtrack. But I never really got it. I never listened to this whole record. Bought it immediately. Had to have this. It's this like old reissue of Nielsen Schmielsen. It's one of my favorite records. It's one of my top records It's one of my top 5 records. I love this album. I feel like without this format, never would have gotten into it. So, you know, and then I got the Mo-Fi, Nielsen Schmielsen, and it was a little disappointing, to be honest with you. But, you know, it is what it is. You guys, I'm not getting into the Mo-Fi thing right now. There are plenty of videos on Mo-Fi and people's, you know, everybody's opinions on it. So, and I watched a lot of those videos. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, Nielsen, man. This one, Buckingham Nicks. I kept seeing this like on Facebook. Some people would also show it in the VC. Buckingham Nicks. That's right. So this is only released on vinyl. I'm not sure. It might have got a cassette reissue. I'm not sure. But for the true experience of this, like, you could look this up on YouTube. You can't stream this record. So if you want the true experience, and apparently the masters burn up. So if you want, you have to buy this in the vinyl. So had it not been for the vinyl community, I would have never enjoyed this record. It is one of my favorites. I mean, it's amazing. It's Buckingham Nicks, man. Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks. What are you guys doing? Release that record again if you have the tapes, or even a second generation. People dig that. So anyway, so I want to get back, and so we're going all the way back to like 1988 with this one. And this album isn't from 1998. I think it's from 1973, maybe 74. I'm not even sure. Way to have my facts straight at this at 36 minutes. If you guys are still here, man, oof, you're awesome. You deserve something. Led Zeppelin 4, the very first, like, full-length LP I can remember having. Maybe there was something else in there. But I remember having this. Okay, let's say this. My first of my favorite full-length LPs. I bought this at a garage sale. Not this copy. That copy got burned in a house fire. What a shame. And it was beat to hell, man. That would have been like hanging on the wall for sure. But Led Zeppelin 4. So this, I remember having this as a kid, listening to this in my sister's room. She had a nice, well, she had a nicer than I did record player. And I remember this like gatefold being amazing. There's a good example of the artwork aspect of vinyl. So I burnt myself completely out because of the vinyl version of this. And it took me until basically kind of the last couple of years where I can actually tolerate listening to that album again and listening to it. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got. So anyway, that's why we do vinyl. I might put a little like warning down below. You might want to split this video up into 2 or 3 listens or views, but it's just the way it is. Just sometimes the geezer has to ramble, so I need to get back to that magic number of about 10 minutes. So this went about 4 times as long as I wanted it to. But I had some extra time today, and I don't know. I'll link that that article down below as well. And thanks, everybody. I've noticed that you guys have been watching my videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys spent way too much time listening to me. If you're still here, let me know. Let me know below. You made it this far. You might as well comment. Let me know below if you disagree, if you agree, if there's a reason that you're into it. Make your own video. Tell us why you're into it. Why vinyl? Why? Why for you is it important? I've let you know why it's important for me. I would love to see your response to this. Anyway, and if you've made it this long, man, sub to Geezer. Give him some watches, all right? Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. Anyway, I just had a knock at the door. I believe my guitar strings are here, so that's a good excuse for me to stop. So you guys take it easy. Keep digging them Rekkids, all right? We'll see you later. Peace to you all. I love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.